Hello, everyone. Back with another one. This is Mike Conway. He is a video editor, what writer, voiceover guy. You do a bunch of stuff. You're even one of the runners of the channel. What do you? Admin. That's what I meant to say. Admin for one of our other channels.
Yeah, a few of them, 3 of them.
So, yeah, you do a bunch of stuff for us.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have you on to talk about Scream because I know that you like the Scream movies pretty much as I do.
I love the Scream movies.
That's exactly what I like to hear because I don't know if you've watched the Arrow in the Head show, but those two do not like the Scream movies very much. I mean, outside of the original.
I think John might like the first and the fourth one, maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I always feel very ganged up on whenever I even bring it up because they know how much I love it. And so it's nice that we can I don't know, and get to talk and enjoy all of them together since we seem to have similar tastes in terms of the Scream films.
Oh yeah, man, for sure. I mean, right when you asked me to do this, I was pumped right away. I could talk Scream all day long.
Hell yeah. And I'm not gonna steal John and Lance's thing, so we're not doing like a drink section. But I'm just curious as to, because we are both drinking something, and I actually got, my birthday was this past Sunday, and I got this as a gift. It's called Elijah Craig.
Okay.
I had never heard of it before, but this is some tasty stuff.
Was it bourbon?
I'm not. Yes, it is bourbon, and it is the smoothest bourbon I've had in quite a long time. So if you're into bourbon at all,
I am a bourbon guy. I love bourbon. I'm just drinking a glass of red wine.
Nice. What kind of red wine? Any
Cabernet.
specific?
Cabernet. Yep.
Is
Walmart's finest black box Cabernet.
Is that dry?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, as far as wines go, I mean, the only way I'll drink it is if it's red. And, red like blood, so it kind of matches our theme today.
There you go. See, I don't, I asked you what kind of red, but it's not like I would have even known what kind, because I literally don't know anything about specifically red wines. I know the names, but anything else I don't really know.
The red wine keeps the heart healthy. And when you get up there in age.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah.
But I would probably just overdo it. So that's why I stick with the whiskey. I actually, and this is not getting into Scream yet, but I actually was doing dry January. So this is one of the first drinks that I've had.
Oh, nice.
Since ending that.
I didn't know that was a thing. I maybe would have partaken. but
yeah,
maybe not.
I don't know. I had heard of it a few years ago. My dad does it. And so me and a few buddies decided that we were just going to do it. And so we did.
Yeah, well,
I technically had I had an 8-hour break because I visited Lance in Florida and we drank a bottle of scotch together. But other than that, I was fully dry. Yes, I don't want to talk about it.
Gracious, man.
It was not good. Oh, I legitimately had to recover the rest of January. It was that bad. Not good at all.
Seems like I need to party with you guys sometime. Yeah.
I'm curious as to what's your background with Scream?
All right, so Scream came out December of 96, right? Yeah, December 96. I was in 8th grade at the time, so I was 13, and at that point, I was already a huge fan of Wes Craven. Nightmare on Elm Street was my introduction into horror in the 80s, and I saw the trailer for it. The trailer looked awesome, and plus I had Drew Barrymore on the poster, so I was down for that. And I begged my mom to take me, so she took me to go see it opening night. And pretty much right after the first kill, seeing the person I thought was the star of the movie, seeing her get killed, and then the next scene is with Sydney and Billy, and they have this little exchange. My mom taps me on the shoulder. She's like, "I don't think this is appropriate for you." But I convinced her to stay, and I think I actually saw it twice that year in the theater.
Well, I have to ask you then, because I've never Scream was I was 5 when Scream came out, so I did not have that opportunity to see it in theaters, and so I knew that because it was so in the zeitgeist of Drew Barrymore is like she seems like she's the main character and then dies.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask, and you were obviously very young, but if this was such an important memory, I feel like you probably remember this. What was your reaction to that kill for the first time and having such a switch? And
man, I just got goosebumps thinking about it.
Did you feel it like in the audience? Was it like this palpable, like what the fuck?
Well, it was definitely a shock for a lot of people in the audience I was with. I mean, I remember it vividly. It's not something I'm just making up for this video. Just because like other than Nev Campbell being on Party of Five, I mean, Drew Barrymore was the biggest star of the movie, and Courtney Cox because of Friends. But all I remember was
a sex symbol at the time. She was in like Poison Ivy, and like she wasn't just like the frumpy daytime talk show host that she is now. She was
also in some other good movies around that time too. Wayne's World 2, she had that cameo. Anyway, so
that's true.
All I remember was thinking how incredible that opening scene is. I mean, I can still think about it. Like I said, I just got goosebumps even thinking about it. Like, there's no scene in horror movie history will, in my opinion, will top the first 12 minutes of Scream.
Yeah. I mean, is it 12? Have you counted that out?
I think it's I think it's 12 minutes.
I never counted it out. So.
I want to say it's 12 minutes. I'm not going to Google it. I'm going to say 12.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've been looking into, because I'm trying to hold off because I'm sure you've seen them, those lovely 4K steelbooks that are releasing through Best Buy.
Yeah.
And part of me really, really wants to pull the trigger. But then the other part of me is like, they're going to release a collection.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat as you. Actually, I bought the 3-disc Blu-ray. Well, it's actually, I think it's 5-disc Blu-ray. But the first 3 movies, just for this video. Yep, that one.
Yep.
But I mean, it's supposed to come in the mail. But I was hoping to have it for today. But I'm in the same boat as you.
Wait, so you don't own any of them on Blu-ray?
No, I don't. I didn't own any of them. I mean, it's something I always streamed, and it's a shocker because I don't know if you see behind me, behind my bar, I have all of my. I mean, those are mainly horror movies back there. And I don't even own Scream for some reason.
Yeah, that is shocking to me because I know that you're a movie guy, you're a collector, and so. Do you not feel like, oh, I just have to have the.
Well, I mean, I didn't start really collecting until a couple years ago with Scream Factory releases.
Oh.
And that's when I really started to get back into the physical media. And now, I can't stop it now. But like you, I was wanting to get the steelbooks, but I think I might just wait until they all come out at the same time.
Well, see, I already started. This is the Scream 2022 that I pre-ordered this. And so that is why I'm like, I've been tempted with it because I'm like,
But yeah, they just came out with Scream 2.
Yeah, Stupid. Well, which is already like out of print. But they're doing a reprint that you can order on Amazon. Like you can pre-order it for the first film.
Okay.
So I'm like, and it's only $25. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. All right.
Because like that's a pretty good deal. And like, especially with steelbooks, because I've been upgrading. I think you and I have had this conversation off air of how I've finally been convinced that 4K is worth the upgrade because the original Halloween is just incredible. And I actually, so for my birthday, I received the Halloween 4K collection that has Curse and H2O and Resurrection.
Yeah.
And shockingly, like they look so fucking good. I haven't watched Resurrection yet, but they look better than I ever imagined them looking. And like I'm shocked because I'd never considered those to be great looking movies. But the producer's cut of Curse, after watching the 4K, it is my second favorite Halloween movie.
Really? I want that set so bad. I just don't know if I can pull the trigger for, I think it's down to $90 now. But like a week or two before it released, Walmart had this glitch where they were selling it for $25, and I pulled the trigger on it. I got it. And then about a week later, they canceled my order, and I was fuming because I didn't. As much as I love H2O, and I love Halloween 6, and Resurrection. I only saw once in the theater. I just don't. I can't spend $100.
No, I get it, especially for those movies. I know that you're a Halloween Ends fan. However, Halloween Resurrection, actually, after I saw Halloween Ends, Resurrection actually popped up in my watching, where like I actually enjoyed it. It almost feels like a haunted house, like Michael Myers movie. It's very, very weird. I dig it. But we're not getting into Halloween Ends. I was just doing that for context.
Maybe we could do that on another day where you actually talk to someone who loves the movie.
Yeah, have to. That would be interesting. If we were to do that, I would. This is what I would propose for you.
Okay.
We would come with, I want to say, like 5 clips of, like, for you, since you like it, yours would be essentially almost like a PowerPoint essay where you play the clip and then you explain of like why it's good.
Okay.
And then I do the opposite.
We could do that. PowerPoint.
That's the only way that I would do it, because I've talked about Halloween Ends so much at this point that I feel like I would have to switch it up in terms of I would need some kind of visual, like visual medium. There's only so much that I can say, like, this is stupid. Like, no, I want a show. Like, and you can fucking love it. I've always stated, like, I don't give a shit. Like what you like, but I'm going to give you shit if I don't like that.
Well, see, we need more people like you in the world. Because some of the comments I read on the horror party movies was, take down that fucking Halloween Ends poster. Because it's right in the background.
I mean, I'm not sure if, God, I don't want to get into it, but I'm not sure if you've seen on the Best Buy site, but the Halloween Ends Steelbook is still available.
Oh.
And the first one sold out within a day, and Halloween Kills sold out before release. So just to give you an idea of the wide spanning love for Halloween Ends.
Yeah. Well, someone's gotta love it, man. Someone on the damn site's gotta love it.
Well, I mean, trust me, you already heard me say that the Halloween Producer's Cut is my second favorite Halloween movie. So trust me, I'm all about controversial opinions.
Yeah. We could actually talk about Halloween 6 quite a bit, but we I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm trying to convince Lance to do that because I think he loves the theatrical cut and I love the producer's cut. So it's like, oh, you and I are gonna have to spar at it at some point.
Yeah, no, I'm on your side with the producer's cut.
Awesome, that's what I like.
Whenever that thing was first floating around on the grainy VHS tape, I bought it off eBay. And that's how I first saw it. I have yet to see a crisp version of it yet.
What? Oh, dude, you are in for such a treat. I guess when I said background on Scream, I don't mean just the first Scream. So like your background on all of the Scream series. What's your relationship with the Scream movies?
All right. So, I've always been a horror guy. Like ever since 4 years old. And by the time I was 13, that's when I started, getting really into movies. And so Scream was the first one that did it for me. And then I remember when I think when the VHS came out, there was already a teaser for Scream 2 on there, which was surprising because it was like less than a year later. And so I was already pumped for that one. Saw Scream 2 the night it opened. I saw that one twice in one weekend. I remember. Loved it. At the time, I thought it was better than the first one. I don't know if I agree with that now. It's still a great movie. I enjoy everything about it.
You're a kid. It makes sense.
Yeah, same thing with Scream 3. I loved Scream 3 to death. I thought the opening with Cotton was awesome. At the time, I mean, whatever. I don't mind admitting this. At the time, I was a Creed fan. so when Cotton gets killed to that Creed song, I thought that was just rocking. And then Jay and Silent Bob showed up. That movie is what it is. So
agreed.
Yeah. I mean, we can go all the way down. So Scream 4, saw that one with my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife. And that one really blew me away, just because it's been so long since we had a Scream movie. And yeah, at the time, that was my second favorite sequel. And then last year was Scream 5. At Scream 5 kind of, I was like that at first. Then I had to watch it again.
So that's Scream 5 is the first one that didn't blow you away in theaters.
Yeah. And
that's crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why, and I don't want to say that reason because
you don't get anything.
Yeah, I'm not going to
too personal.
I'm not going. Well, it's not. I mean, it's not personal, but it's not personal towards me. It's personal, maybe probably towards someone else, and I'm not going to call that person out for giving a bad performance.
Ooh.
But no. After watching it again, I think I've watched that one the most the past year. Scream 2022, Scream 5. I'm gonna call it Scream 5.
Yeah, it's so hard to. It's so hard to remember. Well, sometimes I call it Scream, sometimes 5, sometimes 2022. It's just hard.
Yeah, I mean, that one has been the most of all the Screams I've watched all year long.
See, I'm glad to hear, because I do the same. It's always like something to just throw on. Though I am curious. So I've broken this cycle more recently. Mostly because of just the job we have. Yeah. We do a lot of movie watching. So because of that, sometimes I don't want to force myself through certain movies. So before, whenever I would watch the Scream series, I would always watch it in order. Always. Like, if I watched the first one, I would have to watch all of them. Mm-hmm. And if I wanted to watch the third one, I had to watch the first two. Just because for me, it was like, well, then you don't have the same effect. And only more recently have I broken that, where I'm like, I'll watch this one and that one. But that's mostly because the movies feel like they're fucking just a part of my DNA. So I feel like I don't need to watch them. So I'm curious, as another Scream fan, what's your watching like? Do you do the same, different? What is it?
No, I never really watch them in order. If I go I usually always turn to the first Scream. And it's been a hot minute since I've seen Scream 4 and Scream 3. So it's usually Scream 2, Scream 1, and Scream 5. I need to go back and watch the other ones, because it's probably been about a year since I watched those. And to prep for
I was going to say, you have to prep for the new one. That's the biggest thing.
Everybody's obsessed that Kirby's in the new Scream.
Dude, I've loved Kirby since Scream 4. Scream 4, just like you, as soon as after seeing it, was immediately my second favorite Scream movie. And I love that movie so much. And a big reason is Kirby. I think Kirby is such a good character, just in general. I like a good character. Yeah. And so, Sydney, Kirby, and Tara from Scream 5 and now 6, it's those... Scream 6 could completely shit the bed, and I would not care, because I'm like, you gave me 3 absolute classic characters. I don't care otherwise. I watch so many movies that don't leave any kind of an impact. So the fact that this series has given me so many things to pull from, I feel like, I don't know. I'm the happiest person in the world that the Kirby's coming back.
I was pumped for Scream 5, but I'm even more pumped for the new one. I mean,
the new one,
so awesome.
The new one will be awesome. I'm really excited for the New York setting. I think that they're going to knock it out of the park. And yeah, I'm pumped for that one. We'll
well, how about you? How about you, Tyler? Channel. What's your background on it? I've been rambling on about my background. What's yours?
So I've always really been a huge Scream fan, and in particular because of me being, so I was born in 91. So in terms of active movie watching, Scream has just always been there. And for some reason, my parents were they didn't really care much in terms of violence. It was more of they cared if it was sex. So I was able to watch Scream very young. Mm-hmm. And it's the biggest thing for Scream for me is that it affected me on not just a movie watching level, it affected me on a writing level. Everything I've ever written since is almost in that Kevin Williamson style. Mm-hmm. I attach, nowadays it's like everything is meta, everything has that style, so there's not really much identity to it. It's just everything now. But back then, that wasn't the case. It was so unique, and especially in the horror world. The horror world was so sterile and stereotypical, and to see a film play off those stereotypes and acknowledge them from a writer's standpoint was just mind-blowing, because I've always been a writer, always enjoyed writing. I rewrote all of the 97 or 98 Godzilla movie with Matthew Broderick. I rewrote it all on just from memory and in a Word document. I've always been super into writing, and something about Scream just ignited something in my brain. My first ever screenplay is called Strike, and it is a Scream ripoff.
Dude, you have to send that to me if you still have it.
Oh my God. It's the most embarrassing thing in the world. But I'll tell you right now, the dialogue is fucking good. Even as a kid, dialogue. And it's because of Kevin Williamson. Yep. Kevin Williamson and I should say Joss Whedon as well, because I was a big Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. So those two things, and they really kind of play off of each other a lot in terms of the style of dialogue. And so Scream in particular, just writing wise, is huge for me. But then movie wise, I used to hold a Halloween party in school for all of my close friends from like 6th grade on. And every Halloween we would get together and we would watch horror movies from the after school that Friday to like all through the night. And it was always different horror movies every year. And I remember the year that I showed Scream to all of my friends and the impact that it had. Because at that point, there was no Scream 4. It was just the first 3 Scream movies. And they were just absolutely blown away. And getting to see people's reactions to those movies, it's so special. So special. There are a few movies that I enjoy showing others than the Scream films. To the point that actually 3 months ago, I think maybe 4 months ago, my friends from Indianapolis came up and they had never seen the Scream movies. And so we watched all the Scream movies over 2 days. And
how did they take it?
They went from like beforehand, it's like, yeah, we're going to do this thing, to, oh my God, this is like the best horror series ever. It's so smart. And so like, it could not have gone better. Like I could not have asked for a more ideal showing where they not only loved all the movies, but loved them. I don't want to say correctly, because there's no correct way to love them, but they had like the right, like, their favorites were the correct favorites. Their least favorites were the correct least favorites. Because I'm sorry, but if Scream 3 is not your least favorite in the series, then it is. Something's going on with your head. And like, I love all the sequels in their different ways, but the original Scream is.
It is
absolute top tier. So that better be your favorite.
Yeah, there's really nothing wrong with the first Scream movie. Like you said, your parents just didn't want, to have sex in there. I am dying to show my 10-year-old Scream. He was Ghostface for Halloween last year. I mean, I'll send you a picture of it if you want to throw it up. And I mean, he's seen the opening already. I mean, after that it's fine. So,
honestly, I don't know. That's the kind of thing that I feel like you need to just rewatch it with your wife and be like, see, it's not that bad.
I mean, we all as a family about a month ago watched Evil Dead 2 and then Army of Darkness.
Oh my, it's so much. Oh no. then no. Yeah.
He's fine.
If he's watching Evil Dead 2, he can definitely handle Scream. Not to say, I don't have kids, so I don't have any authority on that. But I would say, in terms of myself, like I had seen Scream by that age.
No, she's gonna watch this video and chew me out.
Dude, you gotta. Hey, Mike's wife, you gotta let him do it. It's so. Look at what happened. Look at what happened to me. Look at what happened to Mike from watching these movies at a young age. Yeah. Now. We make our living from talking about this kind of stuff, so you really can't you can't get him started too early.
Yeah, I think these type of movies bring out the creative in you. Like I mean, like you said, the script for Scream. Whenever I'm trying to write a screenplay, I always throw up Kevin Williamson's Scary Movie script. And I don't copy it or anything like that. I just, it's like a study guide kind of.
Yeah. How he deals with action is, and like for people that aren't screenwriters, when I say action, I don't mean like bang, bang, bang. Action is literally just any kind of movement, any kind of non-dialogue in a scene and his action is so interesting and it gives you such a visual imagery of what is happening in the least amount of words, but also in the easiest way to read possible. So I get what you mean, where it's like, it's not like you're stealing from it. It's you just reading through it and you're like, oh yeah, that's how I can say that kind of thing.
Yep. That's always I actually have it saved onto my desktop.
Same. Not my desktop. It's just saved onto my computer in my documents folder. I actually haven't read it in probably a decade, but it's always one that I read a lot back in the day. That one and Nightmare on Elm Street. If you've never read Nightmare on Elm Street,
no, I take it back. I have read that one. I read that one once, and
it's very much one of those scripts that the script is the movie in so many ways. In that. Craven is such a good writer that he just, even the weirdest stuff that's in the movie where I would have trouble describing it, he not only describes it so succinctly, but he does it in a way that then you can just visually like imagine it. And it's, I don't know. Craven, I'm not a huge Craven fan in terms of the direction. I think his direction is fine, but as a writer is where I really enjoy Craven.
There's one movie
which is weird because obviously like the Scream movies aren't written by him, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, there's one movie by him that I thought was directed insanely well, and it's been a minute since I've seen it, so I could be wrong now. But Red Eye. That one was that one's solid. And I think
just
that one's
announced for 4K.
Yeah, that one's just got announced for 4K. So I'll be picking that one up.
I was if the 4K wasn't $40, I would have pre-ordered, but I've been trying to hold off on different pre-orders. Oh, I actually because I had just gotten Scream Factory. They've been killing it. I mean, they've been killing it for their entire existence, but I had just recently ordered the Dead Silence 4K and the Slumber Party Massacre 1 and 2 4K.
Oh, I'm so jealous on that one, man.
Dude, Slumber Party Massacre 2 doesn't come out until the end of the month. They shipped it yesterday. And I'm like, ooh, please.
Scream Factory, if you are listening to this, send Mike Conway in South Carolina.
Dude, that's the dream. Get Shudder and Scream Factory to be a sponsor. That's my life. So much of my earnings go towards Scream Factory.
As far as Dead Silence goes, I've actually never seen Dead Silence.
So I will say this: if you watch Dead Silence, do not watch the unrated version. Only the R-rated version.
All right, noted.
They add 2 minutes in the unrated version that I don't want to say completely ruins the movie, but practically ruins the movie because they add this like CGI to the main villain that isn't there usually. So so many scenes that are usually so terrifying and scary are laughably bad because the CGI is awful.
Okay.
So do not watch the unrated version.
Okay. I'll watch the R-rated version.
I'll help you out with that. It comes I think it releases in March. That's when I'll get it. I'll send it your way.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I definitely want to check that out. I've seen all of his other movies, so might as well watch that one. I mean, my favorite James Wan movie is, I don't know if you can see the poster. No, it's right here beside me. It's Malignant.
Oh, Malignant. Yeah.
That movie is so bonkers, man.
Dude, I actually like Malignant a lot.
Yeah.
Which is shocking because obviously it's from the same team that made Megan, so I would think that I wouldn't be into it, but I actually really quite enjoyed Malignant. I like when it's that kind of batshit crazy. And I really like Annabelle Wallis. I feel like she's a very, very good actress.
So, all right, Scream. You have a certain ranking, or is your ranking usually change?
That was actually one of the things I was wanting to talk about, ranking. So for the most part, my rankings have stayed the same over the years. Mm-hmm. The biggest kind of wild card at this point is Scream 5. I've gone from it being my second favorite to now I think it's 3, maybe 4. I really love the movie, and like you, I watched it. I've probably watched it like a dozen times since it released on like Blu-ray. Mm-hmm. Just have always been a big fan. I watched it on the plane, like when I flew out to LA one time. It's just because it was just available on the seat. So I was like, oh fuck yeah, I love Scream. So it's that level of movie for me where I can just watch it whenever. Yeah. But there are some things, and there's a performance in it that really just is not for me, and it's the lead. So that's kind of an issue because you kind of have to enjoy the lead, and so I don't know. So that
we're on
part
the same
really.
Page with that one.
Yeah, so like there's elements that I really love. Like I think it has some of the best kills of the series. And I love the final act is so good, and I hope that people.
Awesome.
Yeah, and like Richie is such a good villain. There's a lot of stuff. I think Amber is a little weak, but that's just because she's a little like too evil. Like she's just constant. She's throughout the whole thing, she's really mean to Sam, and like really to the point where it's a little too on the nose. So that would be my
as
one.
A character, she's weak. Okay, I got you. About to say she's not weak in the movie.
No. Yeah. No. And she's just as a character, because she's it's a little too like, oh yeah, she's too evil. Like it's very. If you watch it after the first, because when I watched it the first time, I was like, huh, Amber really seems like she's the bad guy here, and then. Every time I've watched it since, I'm like, they should have made her a little nicer so that it's slightly less obvious.
But Reggie was so awesome.
Richie is amazing.
Like how he just like fanboys, oh shit, it's Ghostface.
Yes.
And he literally tells people to get out of the house. I'm saving your life. Saving your life.
Yeah. Phenomenal. And how I love too, one of my favorite things is when he gets killed and what about my ending? Because that's what so many people, like fans, then will be mad at a movie because it didn't end the way that they wanted it to. And so to me, it's like, that's them being like, oh, we don't care about your ending. Like we need to do what's right for the story.
Yeah.
So I really liked that because I have a feeling, like, I don't know about you, but my prediction for Scream 6 is that it's going to be divisive. Like they're going to do some stuff that there's going to be a lot of Scream fans that are like, that's not Scream.
Yeah. Nah, whatever. I'm just here for the ride. I mean, they got me, and I know I'm going to enjoy it, whether it's bad or good.
Same. I can't imagine there's anything in that movie that I have an issue with. But I want to talk about, because we kind of glossed over it. I want to talk about Scream 3 because you seem to have a little more. You seem to like it, and I'm curious about that because I've been very I don't know, upfront about how much I like the so bad it's good genre, and that's why I like Scream 3. So why do you like Scream 3?
All right, I'm going to say right off the bat, Scream 3 is a bad movie. It's not good. But it's still fun to watch. I mean, they really upped it with the comedy. But a lot of things don't land. But for some reason, I really can't explain why I like this movie. I'm a man of bad taste. I'll say that. And this, I mean, it's not good, but it's definitely at the bottom of the barrel for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing that works so well with it too is that the Scream series is so movie oriented. So then putting them in Hollywood, putting them in LA, like it just feels right for for me.
I really enjoy Parker Posey. So that was probably, I mean, all the characters in this movie were really fun to me. And at the time, and Jenny McCarthy was in it. So at, how old was I there? 15. So 15, Jenny McCarthy, obviously.
Yeah.
And the main thing that doesn't work well for that movie is Courtney Cox's haircut, which has now become a meme.
It's all I can look at whenever I watch the movie. I'm always just like, what was she thinking? And I know she's acknowledged she makes fun of it too. And I know too, she said that like she didn't even like it when it was originally cut, and that like the lady just went too short. She wanted it like further down, but then it was like, well, they had to start filming. They couldn't wait like for it to grow out longer, so she just had to have it. It's like, ooh.
Now that I think about it, I don't know if you watch Friends. I watch Friends.
Yeah. Yep.
It reminds me of that episode where Monica's getting a haircut. And she wants it like Demi Moore, but
the Dudley Moore. Yeah. I still like her, the Dudley Moore haircut that she gets though. Yeah. I'm always like, I think it works on her.
Yeah, it does.
But this haircut does not work on her in any way.
Yeah. But the Scream 3, the ending, the killer reveal, I thought was stupid.
So bad.
It just seems like it's just one of those convenient type characters. I'm your long lost brother. I don't know. It's
yeah. I'm 100% with you. It never worked. It's stupid. And like even like you mentioned how Parker Posey is such a great character, and she gets stabbed in the back through a mirror that then like we don't really technically even see, and she's just like dead. Yeah. Where none of the kills are really memorable outside of, I guess the one guy gets exploded in the house.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's literally just stabbings. A lot of stabbings we don't even see.
I wish Cotton had a better written character. Maybe lasted a little bit longer. Maybe was had more of an appearance throughout the thing.
Yeah, you had said how you liked the beginning of Scream 3, and that is one thing that I like it less every single time that I see it. And that, because like what you were saying, Cotton is not well serviced there.
No.
Because I think that after Scream 2, they set up such an interesting character and such an interesting foil for Sidney, in terms of where he didn't have to be the bad guy, but then he would always just be there where Sidney thinks he's the bad guy. And so to get rid of him in such a kind of irrelevant way, it's not like it really matters that much that he does die. It really doesn't even set off like a bunch of events. Like everything that would have happened in the movie still would have happened had he died or not, versus the other movies where I feel like that's not really the case. The opening kill sets off a lot of the events of the other films, but this opening kill is just like, well, this happened, but all of our characters are still here, like are already here, and this is still going to happen regardless.
Yeah. Well, so obviously I enjoy Scream 3. Do you enjoy Scream 3 at all? Or just
I know I like Scream 3. It's just in that so bad it's good way,
yeah,
but
okay,
it's yeah. It's just in that stupid, that dumb
yeah,
way.
And that was also when I started getting really big into Kevin Smith. So seeing Jay and Silent Bob just randomly appear out of nowhere.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Just everybody in the theater was like, "Oh, you see that?"
Yeah, and I do enjoy it. Like, there's some interesting bits in it, but yeah, there's for the most part, it just feels like, oh yeah, this is very much a movie. It's the most movie of all Screams.
Yeah.
But like I said, an answer in terms of the ranking, and I will do your rankings next. So my rankings would be, I would do obviously the first Scream, and then I would do Scream 4, then Scream 5, Scream 2, then Scream 3. What about you?
Scream 4, Scream 5, Scream 2, Scream 3. If it wasn't for one character in Scream 5, it would have been number 2.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, I'm right there with you. That one character does definitely... Well, not only that one character, but an element of that one character, that the Billy stuff, I feel like it's... I don't hate the concept, but I don't think it's executed quite as well as it could be.
Nah.
Where, like... I don't know. Again, like I think they could have done it well, but like how they handle it, it's a little too like MTV, I guess, where it just seems a little silly. And also the fact that he obviously looks like he's 25 years older because he's 25 years older.
Yeah, it's all right.
So I am curious too as to what, have you seen the Scream TV shows?
I saw season 1 and then I started... Is it season 3 when they brought back the Ghostface mask?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I started that one. I've only seen the first season.
I'm the same. I saw the first season and I hated it. I watched the first season.
Yeah, just because I saw one character, it's like, oh, she's the killer, and then she ended up being the killer, and I was just bummed out. So I never gave season 2 another chance.
That series, and there's another series that came out around the same time called Slasher that was on some Canadian channel that then went to like Shudder, Netflix. But it's the first season, and I think they're on season 5 at this point.
Okay. But
it's a great show, but that along with Scream kind of taught me that slashers can't really last. Like they're not good for TV. They need to be 90 minutes, like whatever event is going on, it needs to be wrapped up in 90 minutes. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, there's too much suspension of disbelief where it's like, why are the police not coming in on like everyone here? How are they not able to find this person? Like people getting offed, it's more more plot holes and more convoluted plots spring up in a TV show for a slasher than a movie. So I'm automatically just like, no. Anytime I see a TV show slasher, I'm like, no, it's not going to work.
Scream Queens, though. Did you watch Scream Queens?
Yes. And I think Scream Queens works because it's a satire.
Yeah.
Because they're able to make fun and they're able to play on it. And Scream Queens also makes the very smart decision they reveal the killer early, and then they reveal a second killer like later on. Yeah. Or then they definitely were able to do some stuff that worked well with it. But I also think that you get rid of the satire, and a lot of the stuff doesn't work as well in that show. Because the whole what's her name? The chick from Niecy Nash. The whole Niecy Nash character is essentially just like so over the top, and it works in the show. But if you get rid of that satire, and like her entire character would be just the worst.
Yeah.
But like it's the same reason and it's such a hard thing to pull off, and I think that was evidenced by season 2 because I'm not sure if you watched season 2, but
I did.
not near, like, I think season 1 is brilliant, and then season 2 is just like it's fine. Like it's a show.
Yeah, I actually now that I think about it, I never finished season 2.
I don't think anyone did, because didn't they cancel?
Yeah, canceled right after.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't. Did they wrap? I feel like they were able to wrap it up, but it was one of those things where they had to wrap it up in less episodes, so it's really rushed. I could be wrong about that because it's been so long. At this point, shit, Scream Queens is like a decade ago.
Oh man, that's so weird to think. Yeah, almost a decade. Almost, we're almost there.
Yeah, it's very, very weird. We're at that point with a lot of these things. Well, we just passed it would have been the 12-year anniversary of Scream 4, or was it 13 year?
2011. So
11, yeah.
11.
12.
Damn.
12.
12. Oh my god.
Yeah. Insane.
Yeah.
And then we're coming up, like we're only 3 years away from the Scream 30-year anniversary.
Don't say that. Oh, dude.
Like, it's insane. Absolutely insane. I mean, I don't know. Obviously age happens to everyone, and we all know the stuff is going to happen to us, but movie stuff is what gets to me constantly.
When I think of something that's 30 years old, I think of like The Exorcist. Or something like that came out 30 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think of stuff when I was a kid and thinking like, 30 years ago, and it's like that was the 60s. Then it's like, so now thinking 30 years and it's like the 90s. It's like, what the fuck is happening?
Nah, that's disappointing.
Getting old sucks.
So you're 91. Okay, cool. Do you still consider yourself a 90s kid, or are you 2000s?
Yeah, just because of how much I'm was just into all the 90s stuff. Like all of my favorite stuff was like cartoons and stuff were 90s shows. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like the 2000s stuff that came. Like I considered that all new stuff, like the Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls, all that Johnny Bravo, all that shit, all that's like new to me because I watched like the Batman the Animated Series and Spider-Man and X-Men the Animated Series, that kind of shit where it's like Power Rangers, stuff that's very, very 90s. So no, I definitely still consider myself a 90s kid.
I was also a big Tales from the Crypt Keeper fan, the cartoon. The Tales from the Crypt cartoon that came out in the 90s.
There was a cartoon?
Oh my god, you didn't know that? You can actually watch it for free. I think they're all on Tubi.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a pretty wide spanning knowledge of the horror genre, but there's definitely some pretty glaring omissions. And I would say I have all the Tales from the Crypt. I've had them since I think college, like on my computer, and I've used them in some videos, and it's not one of those shows, like I can watch an episode, but when an episode ends, I'm never like, yes, I need to watch the next one.
Yeah.
Just, it's never been that for me. Same with, I love the X-Files, but it's never been, because my dad watched it, but it's never been a show that I'm like, I want to put on. But yeah. That's just how I am. Versus like, I can throw on like a Buffy. I can throw on some Buffy anytime.
I'm not a TV. I can't. My attention span is terrible, and so I have a hard time binge watching shows. So I usually always turn on Friends or Seinfeld. Yeah. Mostly Friends.
Friends is a good one, and maybe it's the Scream aspect. This is why you're all about it.
Yeah,
but because I mean, and I will say too, I think that Gale Weathers is getting killed in the new one.
Man,
so.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Agreed. Every single one of my friends that loves the Scream series as much as I do, if not maybe a little bit less, they were so upset about Dewey getting killed, and I'm like, why? I mean, he escaped death for 4 movies. It was his time coming. And I mean,
and he also gets such a good arc. Such a good arc.
Man. It was like I had no like. No, everyone's like they did Dewey dirty. No, they didn't. They did not. And
not at all.
I'll die on that mountain.
I'm right there with you. No, I'm right there with you. And like Gale in particular, like what else, story wise, what else can her character really give us?
No, I mean, yeah. I mean,
she was used up in the last one. Like she needs to get killed in 6 to be with Dewey in the afterlife.
Yeah, and I mean, let these other characters have, you know, their own reign of terror. You know,
agreed.
Let these other characters go. You know, we don't need that. So I'd rather see the new characters come in and let the old characters just either live the rest of their lives or get killed off awesomely.
Yes, I could not agree more. And I think that that's a perfect way to end our little Scream chat.
Actually, yeah.
So
I just finished my wine.
Well, thank you so much for joining me for this, Mike. And hopefully Scream 6 ends up being as good as we hope it is. Hopefully it's closer to Scream 5 than Scream 3.
Tyler, it's been a absolute pleasure. And I'll be happy to come on anytime you want me to.
Oh, we're going to have a Halloween Ends spar at some point. So
yeah.
Take it easy, man.
All right, buddy.